Stanley Heller is an American reporter, also from Connecticut, who's been writing on humanitarian issues in the Middle East and specifically about Syria. He's the best, the one and only Stanley Heller.
Thank you very much. Usually I'm down there doing the video. You can see the video at thestruggle.org, our website, and on YouTube. I'm no historian, but you don't need me to tell you the situation. You've heard it again and again. But I do have 50 years of activism on a million different causes, from unions to Vietnam to Palestine, and so maybe some ideas. Now, number one, I have a question for Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump, do we have an Air Force? We send those billions and tens of billions. Do we have an Air Force? Do we have drones? Why aren't they being used in Syria? Not to bomb, but to feed the people. The UN years ago said that the people have a right to food, that all the sieges are wrong, and that there should be food brought in. Why haven't we done this years ago? Why don't you do it now? There's a group of parliamentarians in Britain who have worked out a whole plan to feed people by drones. You don't even have to risk pilots. You can bring things in by drones. Why don't we do that? We have a sign we brought down from Connecticut. Drop food, not bombs. Maybe I could lead that in the chant. Drop food, not bombs. 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 There's a group that should be doing this, that has done it in Syria, the World Food Program. For over a year in Deir ez-Zor, they dropped food. ISIS was around an area controlled by Assad, and they dropped food and they brought things in by planes. They wouldn't do it in any other area. They should be shamed. The World Food Program has headquarters in Rome and in Washington. And we should have a demonstration down there. They should be embarrassed. So they know how to do it. And there should be a demand on them. We should learn from Palestinians, the BDS programs, boycotts, divestment, sanctions, to use peaceful things to get things done. The thing that strikes me as something very useful is to ask, why is Russian airplanes at JFK and the major airports in the United States? Why do they have landing rights? Why do these same people who were pilots dropping bombs on Syrians, why do we just allow that? Why can't we go to the airports by the hundreds and thousands and say, no, you can't land here. You don't have that right. I mean, that sounds crazy. Didn't we go to the airport right when Trump got in and he did his anti-Muslim thing? Thousands of people went to the airports. Can't thousands of people go to the airports to protest Aeroflot, the Russian airline? Here's another thing. The World Cup is coming up in a city called Moscow. Why not have a protest of that? There's a group, I don't know how to pronounce it, Avaz. They started a petition 4 or 5 days ago. They said, move it back to Brazil. They still got the stadiums. It was just a couple years ago. Move it somewhere else or boycott it. How many people signed? 200, 500, 1,000? This morning I looked at the numbers. 600,000 people have said, move it or boycott it. Someone said Russian embassy. We were at the Russian embassy, some of us, 3 weeks ago. We weren't allowed to get near it. There's a court order that nobody can be by the Russian embassy. But it has nothing to do with Syrians. It was back in the 80s. There was something called the Jewish Defense League that was using terrorism. They still use terrorism against Palestinians. Okay. and there was a court order then. That should be challenged. We should challenge it because the Russians need to hear the message of the Syrian people. Last couple things. I don't know if we heard the word white helmets today, but we should. We should say, long live the white helmets. Here's a white helmet. Long live the white helmets. Long live the white helmets. Long live the white helmets. And glory to all the fallen in Homs, in Aleppo, in Ghouta. Free, free Syria.
Free, free Syria.
Free, free Syria.
Free, free Syria.
Thank you so much.